Now, I'm going to finish the series which I've been working with you. Okay, now, remember exercising dominions in our episode. That is what we began with. Let me recall certain things, then I will launch out to what I'm supposed to speak to you. Remember, we have been looking at the storyline. From last year onwards, I've been speaking about storyline. Everyone who's sitting here have a story to play in our life. You didn't exist because it's an accidental. It's divine, orchestrated by God, so that you will participate the bigger story of God, where your story can merge together. And within the story, there have got many episodes in your life. And that's what we are looking at. But what's the purpose of the storyline? What's the purpose of the episode? It is actually to allow your original makeup. When I say original makeup means what? What is God has designed you is to domain. That's what the original intent. When you read in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, where God says, let us make man in our image and according to our likeness. For what? Domain. You understand that? So dominions is what you and I designed for. So in your storyline, there's going to be many episodes that is going to appear in your life. But the purpose of that is what? To reflect, exercise dominions. And that's what we are looking at. And we saw an episode happens in the life of Jesus, where the disciple also involved in the episode, where we draw several principles. Let me recall back. Number one, we saw the principle of migrations. That is necessary for you to what? To walk into a design of dominions. We saw that the preceding words, not preceding word, proceeding words. Preceding word is a past word, proceeding word is a present word. We saw that. Then thirdly, we saw what? The presence of God. How many of you remember that? The tangible presence of God. When the tangible presence of God becomes real, dominions become what? Reality. And then the last thing we saw, the perception of God, how we are supposed to process and come into conclusions. And that is going to what? Lead us to a place called dominions. Am I right to say? Okay, now today we're going to look at the person of God. Okay, that's what I'm going to major on that. Okay, can we do that? Now, in order to, before we enter into this, and I have given you several principles, okay? The principles, so I'm going to give 3 Ds as introductions. 3D, not the 3D, 3D. D number 1 is drawing. So you and I are supposed to draw these principles to our life. D number 3, we are supposed to develop these principles. This principle is not something that can immediately evolve in your life. It's something that needs to be developed. Thirdly, it must be deployed. If you are not doing about this, then you are actually mainly listening to the word and you're not applying the word. Are you with me? So if you want to navigate your dominions dynamics, then you need to draw the principles, and you need to develop the principles, and you need to deploy the principles. Are you with me? How many of you understood what I'm saying? Okay, now let us jump into the passage now. So I'm going to look into several scriptures, and we're going to draw. Okay, now let us begin with verse 40 and 41. Mark chapter 4, verse 40 and 41. Can we read the scripture? Anyone who want to read? Okay.
And he said to them, why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith? They became very much afraid and said to one another, who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?
Now we're going to pick up one phrase. Who then is this? Do you saw the word? That means something perplexity is happening. What's happening? Oh, Mike. So what is happening? Something is amazing. Astonishment is happening, and they're asking a question. Well, a question is, who then is this? That means something they dawn upon, something they recognize, which have been unrecognized before. Am I right? About the person. Am I right? Am I right to say? So that's the phrase that we're going to develop that. Are you with me? Okay, what is the phrase? Who then is this? That means what? About the revelation of the person of Jesus Christ. Okay, that is what we are going to look into. Now, verse 40 and verse 41. Now, whenever you read the Bibles, don't read casually. Why? You're not able to what? Get the dynamics, get the impact, and get the transform. Why? Bible are supposed to be what? Slowly to read and ponder upon. If you don't learn this hard, you will never get revelations. Okay, now look at that. There's a contrast here. How many of you are noticing that? Verse 40, it says they are afraid. Am I right? Verse 41 says they became very much afraid. Do you saw that, the contrast here? How many of you seeing the contrast here? Okay, now, I'm going to give you a principle here. Then let me work about this. Revelations transition from one state to another state. What are we seeing here? The revelation of a person of Jesus Christ can be able to bring what? Transit you to one place to another place. What was the place that they was? Verse 40. They was afraid of the storm. That's what the storm does. But the moment the storm comes, you want to what? Bring what? Terrify, trembling, afraid of. So that's what the state was, the disciple state. Am I right? Are you with me? You and I have come across many storms of life. The moment storm of life comes, what happened? Afraid is the what? Supposed to be penetrating into. That's what the water. Remember, we saw the water penetrate into the boat in order to sink. Am I right? That's what we saw. The state of this disciple was afraid. Whom they was afraid of? Afraid of all the storms. Whatever the storm is creating is breaking the boat. It is actually filling the boat. And this is what is causing them afraid. In your life and my life, storms comes to break. We saw that last week. Am I right? We also saw that if the storm not only break the boat, it also what? Allow the water to fill the boat so that you will drown gradually. And that's what caused afraid. When you are in a place where you're going to drown, will you be very happy and say, ha ha ha, that's what you will do? No. The moment of drowning, you know that what? If you're not a skillful swimmer, what happened? You'll be afraid. And that's what is happening to them. The moment the wave is beating, what happened? It's creating fear, afraid. So that's the state they was. So what is the principle here? That's what the storm does. It will bring you to a place called terrify, afraid. So why? The moment you terrify, afraid, what happens? You lost your faith. That's what has happened. Faith and fear cannot dwell in your heart together. They cannot. Either one of them is supposed to be occupied your heart. So here, fear occupied your heart. Afraid occupied your heart. About the storms, that's what happened in verse 40. But there is a transition that's happening here. What was the transition? The moment they have revelation about the person of Jesus Christ, the fear of storms transit to what? Fear of God. Do you saw that? How many of you seeing that? There's a transition happening. You and I are not supposed to fear the storm. We are supposed to fear God. Why? That's what the Bible tells us. Am I right to say? Am I right to say? So what are we seeing here? That as the transition is taking place, the transition is navigated by the revelation of who God is. That will bring you out of the fear that you are living, and the fear is able to torment you. So what happened here? Verse 40, we saw an unhealthy fear that is infiltrating the heart of the one? Disciple. The water is filling the boat. Gradually is going to drown. If you're walking in unhealthy fear, that's the spirit of fear. That's the demonic that is trying to work through behind the scene of the what? The storm. Are you with me? And that's an unhealthy fear. But here what happens? Revelation transit to you from unhealthy fear to healthy fear. What's healthy fear? Fear God. What's the fear of God does? Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7. Fear of God is the beginning of knowledge. This knowledge is a knowledge of God. If you're not walking in the fear of God, you will never apprehend the knowledge of God. And chapter 9, verse 10, it says what? Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So what are we seeing here? Two elements can come into your life. One is knowledge, knowledgeable about who God is. Okay? Secondly, what is that? Wisdom. The knowledgeable of God will be able to apply wisdoms in your context of your storms. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing that? Have you seen the railway track? Am I right? There's two tracks, right? One is knowledge, one is wisdom. The train is what? Fear of God. Are you with me? So fear of God is where you release the knowledge of God. The more you know God, what happens? The more you can apply God into your context of your life. That is called wisdom. Are you with me? How many of you getting what I'm saying? So here, what are we seeing? A transition happening. If your life is not being transitioned to a place called fear of God, healthy fear, then you're remaining in unhealthy fear. What's happened? You will never have a knowledge of God. You will never have the wisdom of God. You will walk in a what? Defeated lifestyle, not dominion. Hello? Are you hearing what the Spirit of God is saying? Something you and I have to work in that area. So are you seeing that? Are you able to observe what I'm observing here? Are you all able to? So what are we seeing? The first principle we saw what? Revelation transit what? From one state, the state what? Unhealthy fear, to what? Healthy fear. Okay, that's what we saw then. Okay, secondly, I want to show you something which the Revelation does. Now, can we turn to Luke chapter 8, verse 25? I want to compare with both of these verses so you will know.
And he said to them, "Where is your faith?" They were fearful and amazed, saying to one another, "Who then is this that he commands even the winds and the water, and they obey him?"
Now, you see the phrase says that they fear and amaze. But if you read in the book of Mark, it says what? What it says? They became very much afraid. So when you read the Bible, you need to compare. Comparison is very important. Why? So that you can draw certain principles which is relevant. Are you understand? So what we saw, Luke is trying to say is there was a fear and a amaze. That means mixed feelings. Am I right? That's what? Fear and amaze. Amaze means what? Astonish, wonder, perplex. Wow, that's what it means, amaze. So the fear and amaze means what? That is a fear of God. This is healthy fear. Are you saying that? So what is happening here? So the second principle I saw, revelation of God world creates reverential fear. Are you seeing that? You know what is reverence? Honoring, respecting, value. So that's what's created here. The moment that you and I have the revelation of who God is, it creates reverentials. When the moment you walk in reverential, what happens? You will able to walk in dominions. Dominions is equal or plus together with what? Reverential. Are you with me? How many of you getting what I'm saying? You saw that? That's where the wisdom of God comes. That is where the knowledge of God. The moment you walk in reverence, you honor God, you fear God. What happened? God what? Unleash knowledge. God unleash wisdom. What happened? Knowledge is where you can know who God is. The nature of God, the attribute of God, the characteristic of God. But the wisdom is where you will apply the revelation, the nature of God in the context which is relevant. Are you with me? Are you following what I'm saying? Okay, now, so we saw two principles already. What's the principle? When you have a revelation of a person's, what happened? It navigate you, transit you to one state called unhealthy fear to the state called healthy fear. When you walk in healthy fear, dominions can be exercised. Unhealthy fear what? Reaps your dominions. Okay? Secondly, we saw what? There was a fear and a maze. What happened? So, fear of God creates reverential. That means honoring Him, value Him. The moment you understand who God is, and you honor Him, value Him, and you reverential means what? What happens? Well, wisdom will be part of your life. Knowledge will be a part of your life. When wisdom and knowledge is part of your life, dominions become very real. So real so that you can what? Enjoy that. Are you with me? How many of you following what I'm saying? Are you getting what I'm saying? Okay, now, let us go into the next room. Okay, now. Again, comparison. Verse 40. Mark chapter 4, verse 40. Let me read that. And He says to them, why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith? Now look at me, the question Jesus asked. Do you still have no faith? But let us read Luke. What is Luke is trying to say here? And He says to them, where is your faith? Now look at me. Where is your faith? That means it is something that is, the faith is what? Missing, right? When I ask you, where is the money? When I ask you the question, what I mean? Where did you place? That's what it means, right? The emphasis is what? What's the emphasis here? What's the emphasis? Where's your faith means what? Where's your faith means what? They have not deployed the faith. That's what it means. Am I right to say, where's your faith? When God was asking Adam, where are you? Am I right? He was missing. He is supposed to be in a place. So where is your faith means your place supposed to be properly in line with your dominions. Am I right? That's what He's trying to say. So here, faith is what? Evaporated, or faith is misaligned. That's why Jesus was asking, where's your faith? And when verse 40 He says, do you still have faith? That means, is your faith is diminishing, evaporating? That's the question that He's trying to ask. Are you with me? How many of you following what I'm saying? Are you following what I'm saying? So what is happening? Revelations of God fuels your faith. If you don't have revelations, for example, petrol is supposed to be in your car, right? If petrol is about to finish, what do you do? You pump, top up. Faith is like petrol. It must be pumped up. Why? If you have no faith, you cannot walk a walk of dominions. Why do I say it? Hebrew chapter 11 says, where the Hebrew chapter 11 was placing every man and woman who by faith they domain. So faith is what? It's a factor that helps you to domain. But what funnels faith? What fuels faith? Is revelations. That's why Jesus asked, where is your faith? That means there is a misalignment of faith, or the faith is not being deployed, or do you have faith? What that means that means that the petrol is going on. The faith is what? Diminishing. It's supposed to be accumulated. Am I right to say? Am I right to say what I'm trying to say to you all? Are you with me? Clear? Are you following? Is there something hard? Okay, now. So what are we seeing here? So now listen very carefully. What I say is, revelation of God fuels your faith. The moment you walk in faith, what? You are conqueror. That's what John says. Faith overcome the world. 1 John chapter 5. Did he say that? So overcome the world means what? Domain. So whatever happens in your world, that means the world is your theater, that you are playing your drama, your storylines. And in the storyline in the world, it's a theater, what happened? You walk into a design of dominions. Are you with me? How many of you getting what I'm saying? So what are we seeing? Jesus is asking here, where is your faith? That means what is happening here? What's happening here? They did not process the revelations of God which was given to them consistently when they was walking with him. Am I right? Before that, they have seen Jesus healing the leprosy. Jesus have healed the blind man. Jesus have delivered the demonic woman. All these elements they've been observing. That's deeds supposed to unfold the revelation of who he is. That's supposed to fuel their faith. That's supposed to accumulate their faith by faith. That's what the Bible says. Faith from faith to faith. It's a progressive, right? It's only progressive when you have what? Accumulating revelations. So question this morning, do you have accumulated revelation about the person of Jesus Christ? If I ask you, you will say, what's the revelation? The Lord is my shepherd. That's the only word you will say to me. Or you will say, the Lord is light. Maybe that's second things. Furthermore, you don't have revelation over the person of Jesus Christ. So what is Jesus asking? Where's your faith? That means what he's saying. Did you process a revelation that you've been watching with me, walking with me? Hello? Christian walk is to follow Jesus. Am I right? Jesus says, follow me. What it means, come together with me, learn from me, know who am I. I will unveil progressive revelation for you so that you will what? Walk in the dynamics of faith. When you walk in the dynamics of faith, what happens? Dominions becomes a reality of your life. So what's happening here? Now look at me. If your faith is diminishing, is not increasing, then the process of the revelation that God has given you in your life, it has not been processed properly. Can I say that? That's what Jesus says. Where's your faith? That means what he's asking them, did you process properly? You've been walking with me so long. And as you're walking with me, following me, I've been unlocking myself, unveiling myself in different dimensions, revelation over me. And you have not accumulated revelation. You have not been allowing the revelation to fill you. You're allowing the storms of fears to fill you. How many of you know that if I have dirty water in this container, in order for me to remove this, I can pour and refill. Am I right? But the best way, you know what? I go to the tap, I open up the tap and allow this to be filled. The moment it fills, what happens? Dirty water comes out, clean water. So Revelation does that. That's what Revelation has capacity to do that. The moment Jesus is trying to say, where's your faith? That means I know there's a lot of dirty inside you. There's a storm of fear. There's a lot of perplexity. There is a lot of things, issues in your life which you're not able to walk in dominions. But what I'm trying to do is I'm unlocking the revelations. I'm opening up the tap so that as it fills you, when you accumulate that, what happens? Faith increase in you and dominions become so powerful. So where has gone wrong here? Now look at me, church. Look at me. You can listening the sermon, what I'm preaching every Sunday. But if you're not a man and woman, sit down and process this, ponder this, and allow these two to become practicality, then I will say you will not have accumulated revelations, and then you will not walk in what? Faith, and you will never enjoy, exercise dominion. The problem with you is you hear Sunday, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, nothing. You don't meditate upon the sermon. You don't go back and reflect the text. You don't read through the principle that is given to you. You just ignore. And now let me tell you, if you are that person, today is a turn to turn away from this lifestyle and walk serious. But if you don't want to, then you jeopardize the design of dominions in your life. That means dominations will be part of your life. So remember, the dominations come from where? Enemy. So what happened? Another script was written by who? Diabolical script will be written for you rather than what? Divine script. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you following what I'm saying? Are you able to follow what I'm saying? I got a lot to say, but I cannot do that. So what are we seeing here? Faith, revelation fuels your faith. Okay, now let me go back to another part. Okay, let us see verse 41. Mark chapter 4, verse 31. They become very afraid and says to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Look at me. Prior to this, Jesus was with them, right? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, say? But after Jesus rebuked the wind, calmed the wave, that caused astonishment for them. That caused amazing. That caused fear. All these element dynamics are happening. What's the principle here? Let me draw for you. Revelation of the person of God brings the reality of His presence. His presence was there, was not reality for them. The moment that He shows who He is, what He's able to do, that's what bring the reality of His presence to them. So when the reality of presence comes, what happens? Dominions become easy to exercise. Am I right to say? Are you following what I'm saying? Are you following? So what are we seeing here? Jesus was there in the beginning of their journey. Jesus was in the moment of the storms of life, hitting them, breaking them, filling by water. All this element is happening. He was sleeping. The moment he exercised dominions, the moment he do this, what happened? He unfold what? Who he is. You understand that? Are you seeing that? How many of you seeing that? So the moment that he unfold himself, when they saw the revelations, that's where the reality of presence becomes so real. You might be walking through a storms right now, but you sense God is not there. But God is there. Why you couldn't comprehend that? Because you don't have the revelations. The moment you have revelations, the reality of His presence becomes so real. The moment the reality of His presence becomes so real, what? You become what? To exercise your dominions. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you following what I'm saying? Are you able to capture what I'm saying? Are you able to capture what I'm saying? Following? Okay, now? Are you okay? So let me go back to other principle here. So what are we seeing here? Revelation of God brings the reality of His presence. Okay, that's what we saw. Okay, now. Revelation need to be respond, not to react. What I say? The moment that God give you revelation about who He is, it is supposed to be you supposed to respond, not to react. Either you can react over the revelations, either you can respond over the revelation. Look at the way they respond to the revelation. They was not reacting. Why do I say it? Why do I say that? Verse 41 again. They became very afraid and say to one another. Do you saw the word? Saying to one another. What do you mean by that? That is not reactions. That is responding. Now notice that they're not talking to Jesus here. Are you noticing that? They didn't say, Jesus, wow. They're not. Do you saw that? So the response is what? To one another. Are you seeing that? You see, revelation is supposed to be appropriately to apprehend. When I say appropriately, it means what? You're supposed to respond or react. The moment you react with the revelations, you will miss the dynamics of the revelations. So disciple understood something. They didn't when asked, wow, Jesus. It didn't say that. They never spoke to Jesus. They spoke to one another. Do you saw that? They're saying to one another. Now, very interesting, the Greek words for that. Okay, let me give you the understanding what the Greek word says, say. It means logos. It means in the Greek words. It means to tell. It means to call. It means to lay forward. It means to relate. It means to, what it means, implications. Or it means collective accumulations. Look at that. That means when I have a revelations, I'm speaking to Mary. Mary, wow, this revelation. Do you saw that? We are speaking to each other. What happened? I give my perspective and she will give her perspective. Collective perspective will increase what? Dynamics. Am I right? Am I right to say? Am I right to say? Why are you so silent? So that's the reason why they are speaking to each other. Do you realize in Isaiah chapter 6, where the seraphim speaking to each other spontaneously, he says, holy, holy, holy. They was not saying to him, they were saying to each other. Am I right to say? The word holy means transcendent, beyond comprehend, beyond distinct. And what's the angels, seraphims are saying to each other? You saw that the moment I saw God, wow, transcendent thoughts comes, beyond explanation, so distinct. And the angel seraphim is saying to another seraphim is saying to each other. What happens? It is accumulating revelations. It impacting revelation. The moment I say to the seraphim, and the seraphim is saying to me what? That's what seraphim calls burn one. Do you know the meaning of seraphim means what? You know the word seraphim means what? Burning one. What makes them the burning ones? They learn to contain the revelation and exchange revelation and what? Accumulate revelations. That's supposed to be your response. Look at me. If you want to walk in dominions, you must learn this. Spontaneous things. That's why they're saying to one another. Okay? Now let me build some more. What they are actually saying about? Do you know what they were saying? They would have said, wow. What will recall back? Because the moment they have revelation that will steal the storm, and the moment that revelation comes, what happened? Other hidden revelation that has been revealed to them would have come to pass. Wow, we saw this before. We saw this before. We saw this before. And now we are seeing a different asset. That means what is that? Unfolding revelations. Are you seeing that? Now, revelation will not be given fully to you. Genesis to Revelation is unfolding revelation of who God is. It's a jigsaw puzzle, bringing all the puzzle together. And we can have a mega insight of who God is. Are you with me? So here, the disciple understand, hey, do you saw that? The last time I saw Jesus open up the deaf ear, what, do you saw that? Jesus delivered the demon-possessed man, the legion. All this, what? They were speaking about. So what happened? They say, now we have another new unpack, what? Unfolding revelations. And that's what they say. What I'm trying to say. It recalls back that and it gives fresh. What happened? That will allow you to walk in dominions powerfully. Are you with me? I hope that this message would turn around you to a place where you will become a conduit of revelations. Are you with me? You saw that? So, firstly, I saw unfolding revelations. That means a progressive. The second thing is unrecognized. They have not recognized Jesus like that because they saw Jesus, God, domain over demons, domain over disease, but they never see Jesus' domain over the nature. Unrecognized revelations. That's what happened to John when he was in Patmos. The moment Jesus appeared to him, which is not the shepherd, fiery eyes. You saw that? Brazen lake. White hair. And he says, when the moment he saw, he was terrified. He fell like a dead man. Because unrecognized. Because all this while, John saw somebody that he been lie in the bosom. A tender. A lovely. But now he saw a fiery side. Not the lamb, but the lion. Unrecognized. Now what I'm trying to say is, if you want to exercise dominions in your storyline, in your episodes, then you need to what? Walk in unfolding revelations and unrecognized revelations. So that dominions becomes part of your life. And then what happened? That's the way to respond. Are you with me? Are you clear? Okay, let me go into another thoughts of. Okay. Revelations give power to reinforce dominions. What does revelation of God gives power to reinforce means what? To strengthen, to support, to validate. To validate what? Your dominions. The moment you get revelations, what happened? It gives you power to reinforce the design that is within you to what? Support that, to give strength. That is what I mean. Why do I say that? Why do I say that? Now look at Luke chapter 8 verse 25. Very interesting word that was said there.
And he said to them, where is your faith? They were fearful and amazed, saying to one another, who then is this, that he commands even the
He commands. Wow, the word. You saw that. Who then is this? That he commands even the winds and the water, and they obey him. Now look at me, the word commands. It's a military word. A man that is in charge. Commanding what? Commanding what? The wind and the water. Do you saw that? That means what it means. Commanding means by bringing them to a proper place. To arrange them. That means the wind was chaotic ready. Why? A demonic realm was trying to use the wind to what? Improper way. To bring devastations. Am I right? The moment wind exercised in an improper way, what happened? Wave are what? Arose. So wave are supposed to be, it become what? More terrified. What? It start to break the boat. And it what? Fill the boat. Do you realize that God created wave not to destroy you? These are because man's sin. That's why nature become chaotic. The last Adam comes and says, now I'm going to bring the chaotic into order. Do you saw that? Hello? He reinstitute what man has lost. Dominion. Some of you know the man's supposed to be in charge of the fish. When he's in charge of the fish, it means he's in charge of the water, right? Am I right to say? He's in charge of the animals, living creature is in charge of the earth. He's in charge of the bird, means he's in charge of the sky. Am I right to say? Am I right? He can domain the sky, he can domain the sea, he can domain the earth. That is a sphere that he is supposed to be walk. Because of sin, he lost what? The dominion power. Are you seeing? So what are you? Revelation of God give you power to reinforce the dominion that God has given you. In originally, you are exercising that. Are you with me? I can actually build on the word commands. It's so many things. Okay? It means a royal command. That means king, creator is commanding the creations. How many of you know the creations that is supposed to be below mankind? Am I right to say? Let them domain the sea and the creature. Did he say that? So what are we seeing here? You and I can walk into royal command. You and I can walk into a place where you and I king. Am I right? The Bible says he has made us king and priest. Am I right? In Genesis, let us make man in our image. That means we are the prince. We are prince that's supposed to what? Domain the earth, king. So what are we seeing here? When you have a revelation of God, that is where He gives power to reinforce, reinstitute the dominion's power. Are you with me? Are you getting what I'm saying? So what are we seeing here? How many points do I have given you? 6, right? Okay, let me give you one more. Revelations of God will give you a posture of submissions and surrender. Why do I say that? They said what? Even the wind and the water obey Him. Did they say that? The word obey means what? Very interesting word, Can I say to you what is the Greek word says means obey? Hello? Do you want to hear the word obey means what, It's a two Greek compound word. A word that is combined together. And that's what it means. So let me give you simplify so that you will understand what I'm trying to say. Can I do that? Maybe I don't want to make something very easy for you. It's hupermono. That's a Greek word. Huper means it's coming under. Staying under. A position of submission. Okay? Mono means it's talking about your faculty of hear. Listening. Okay? Let me join the two words together. It means something that you listen under. You understand what I'm trying to say? Under hearing. That's what it means. That means as you listen, your posture is coming to a place of submission, surrender, and you're listening. That's what it means. That means the creation, the water is coming under recognizing, hey, Jesus, you are the creator. The wind says, you are the creator. They recognize the revelation, who is this? And they submit, and they now listening. What's the listen? Be still. Be calm. Do you saw that? How many of you seeing that? How many of you seeing that? The moment you and I have the revelation of God, what happened? A posture of submissions and posture of what? Surrender will happen to you. What you will say is you will try to listen what God is saying about this storm. What is God is trying to speak into this storm. And that's where you can exercise dominions very powerfully. You see, as I says, remember when the moment that Samuel came to, remember? He says that his name was called. He came to, remember? How many of you remember that? Eli. He came to Eli and says, Eli, did you call me? The second time. The third time, he said, now go. Go and says, what he says? I'm your servant. I will obey. I'm paraphrasing the statement. That means what he says, I'm coming under posture of a servant just to listen and to what? do what you say. That's what servant is mean. The moment you get more revelation of who God is, your posture becomes submission. Your posture becomes surrender to God. Your posture to say you submit to God, whatever He wants. The moment you surrender, because you're going through a storm life, that's the moment that is everything happening, that you say, God, I want to have revelations. The moment you get a revelation, what happened? It create a posture where you are submit to the storm. Submit to what? Surrender to the storm. That means whatever happening, you surrender. But in spite of that, what happened? The moment that you do that, what happened? You surrender to say, God, that storm is happening. I know this can be demonic realm is releasing. I know because of my failure is maybe because you are trying to school me. But in spite of all this, I come into a place of surrendering and submission. What happened? That's the moment that you will go. You will hear the proceeding word. What's the proceeding word? Listen, this is not me. It's demonic. Fight. Listen, this is your failure. Reconcile this. Ratify this. Listen, this is me trying to build your muscles of faith. Hello? Are you with me where I'm coming from? Why? When the moment you have revelation, if your heart doesn't come to a place of posture of submission and surrendering, I know all is happening. I don't know whether it's demons. I don't know whether I fail. I don't know what you're doing, God, but I come into submissions. Because you are above the storm. That's why we sing the song. Father, you above the storm. He's above the storm. I know the storm is you above. I'm surrendering to you. I saw the revelations. Then when the moment you surrender, what happened? The moment you what? You surrender and submit, that is where God whispered to you. And that's where dominions become very powerful. Are you with me? Are you with me? So I've given 7 things for you. The 7th thing is supposed not to just put it right in the book and just leave it. Just ponder, think about it, apply, pray over that, discuss, pray over that, dialogue with it, discuss with the God, with the people, pray over. All these are things that is where the process is done properly. I don't think you all does this. I can see your face and I can tell you. You know, every truth that whatever I'm trying to do here, I look at the passage, I dialogue, I saw this, I pray, I think, I ponder. That is where all these are coming out. It doesn't come because I was so smart. Because I learned to process properly. So what happened? Revelation can be given to me. The art of process is to be what? Learns to. Then the what? The receiving of revelation will be easy. Are you with me?